and welcome to Trusting the Process. Are you ready? And we start today off with an acrylic medium, the primary colors, Payne's gray, and titanium white. Oh yeah, and my smallest fan brush. What are we making today? Here's the reference photo. As you can see, I called it the Tree of Hope, and I'm not sure if that's going to look like it, but hey, stick around and you'll find out at the very end. This is my first painting working with higher end paints and a medium, so I am still learning as I go. But I love the pigment. You see that? Isn't that pigment amazing? I couldn't get that from my dollar store paints, trust me. I will be doing a lot of fast forwarding in this video, just giving you a heads up. And if you don't know already, I am a self-taught artist, which means I did not go to art school. And my name is Mimi, which is a nickname. Welcome to my channel. I'm hoping you enjoy my paintings, and yeah, on this one, kind of trust the process. I kind of had to. It was a little bit of a tryout, but I was excited at the same time. That's why I'm actually using my sketchbook. It's a mixed media one, so it is also designed for acrylic paints. And that way I don't be wasting any canvases. On to the bottom part, and hey, if you have any tips on how to blend with thicker paints, because as you can see there's not enough paint on my brush. I'm struggling here. How do you do it? You spray water on it, because look, that's what I'm doing, but then very quickly it turns into almost water paint, and you see that layers underneath will shine through. So I'm still trying to figure this one out. If you have any tips, just throw them in the comments, please. Well, don't worry, it's not just going to be me painting the background, but I did spend the majority of the time on that. I wasn't quite getting the results that I was looking for. I may have benefited from a different brush, but I thought, well, I'll stick with one, and the strokes are kind of, the same and whatnot, but I think next time I'll try a different brush or a combination of brushes. Onto a flat brush. Let's see what we can do with that one. I'm mapping out the shape of the log that is sticking out of the water. I like the flat brush for that because you can get some really like clear, clean lines, and at the same time you can use the whole width of the brush to quickly fill in a space like you see me do right here. And I decided to change the texture of the top of the log right off the bat. This is my like base color. It's like the underlying color. I'm gonna go over with details, but I wanted that to have a slightly different texture, so it was really obvious what the difference was gonna be. And like I said, you'll see me fast forward through a bunch of my painting because I did take my sweet time, and this is time consuming, but I enjoy it. It's layer after layer of color and some texture, and then go back over, and you keep going until you get the result that you like. And it takes time, and I like to take my time to do this. So I go back in with a lighter color just so, because I partially went over the previous ones. That's kind of how I do it. I put something in, go back with a different color, slightly cover it, go back, make things pop out, stand out. And mind you, acrylics do dry a bit darker, so sometimes I just gonna have to let it dry and see, is this the right shade? Do I need it a little bit lighter? Do I need it a little bit darker? And then go back in. Still working with that same brush, and it's pretty interesting to see the different kind of strokes you can do with it and get different results, and just one brush. One thing I did do is whenever I changed color, or before I was going to change color, I put that color down in what is supposed to, resemble a reflection in the water, just so that you have that same color down there. And because otherwise afterwards to create that same color, oh my gosh, that doesn't work for me. I can never ever get the same color twice. So once I have it on my palette and it's wet, I'll use it. And a small liner brush. It's not the smallest I have, but it is a smaller brush, just to get into some more details there. I like this part. It all of a sudden there's like depth, there is a texture, it almost looks like you can touch and feel the bark. I love this. Trying to really create a shadow type illusion here. Left side of the log is catching a light, and the back side of it not so much. So I'm really trying to work towards more photorealism, hyperrealism, whatever you want to call it. Basically what that means is to make a painter look, a painter? Wow, new word. To make a painting look like a picture, sort of. Make it look very realistic. And I have a long way to go, but I absolutely enjoy this type of painting. It's become like a huge obsession. Okay, that's a bit of a coarser brush. I think we're going into some green, yes, base on the top of this stump. You see why I already put that texture in earlier in the painting so that this would stand out even more. I'm quite happy that I did it that way. I'm like, thank the Lord for that awesome thought. Fast forward a little bit, because otherwise you'll be watching this for hours and hours. Now let me know if you want me to make videos like that. But I personally, just my own personal preference, don't like to watch videos that are super long. More details. Me in my element, having fun. You can see that I've also transferred the colors that I used at the top into the reflection at the bottom. And I decided to put in that little bit of a waterline that showed in the photo. It's an interesting photo when you look at it, because that's the only waterline you will find. So I just kind of messed around with it until I had it where I thought it was all right. So I just added a color, then added a highlight, then I added a shadow, and I kind of messed around with it until I felt it was what I wanted it to be. And I'm going in here with a liner brush. I don't think I have a shot of me holding it in front of my hand, but yeah, that is the longest liner brush that I have, and I really love it. It's great for details. So I did go back to one of my dollar store paints, which is black. I felt I needed to create a little bit more of actual shadow, and I know black is not technically a color, but I'm glad I did what I did, because it just gave just that little bit of oomph that I was still looking for. Payne's gray is awesome, but it has a bit of a bluish undertone, and I just wanted it to be pretty darn black. You see how all of a sudden that changes just the log? All of a sudden it has way more texture and depth, and oh my gosh, this part is awesome. I love it. And it's fun to watch right now while I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm getting excited watching myself paint. Do you get that sometimes? Let me know. Okay guys, humble brag moment, from this to this. I think it's starting to come together. Yay for me! I'm doing a good job, I think. As I had mentioned, I wasn't too happy with the background. I didn't quite like how everything was. Also, the lines of my shadow of the log in the water were a little bit too straight, a little bit too clean. Doesn't quite happen like that in nature now, does it? There's not really straight lines in nature. So, and I tried to remedy that, and I really fast forward through this quite a lot because it took me some time. I wasn't happy. I wanted to sort of fix it. And if I would have played that out in real time, you'd be sitting here watching me mess around for like an hour. So let's get on with another fun part, is the tree. That tree of hope. Because what are the odds of that tree just growing out of that stump like there, right there? I'm using a round brush, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong, I am not the one that really knows all my brushes, their names and everything else. I mean, I could call them Jim, Alicia, like, you know, their proper names sometimes I'm like, I don't quite know, but I know what they do, and that's more important to me. Highlighting the tree. It's also one of a favorite part, because then all of a sudden it looks like it has actual bark instead of a straight, well, not entirely straight, but instead of like a plain brown line, now it's starting to look almost like it is roundish, and that the sun is hitting it at certain spots, and that it has some different colored, you know, bark. And I think I've mentioned this before, when I start doing the leaves on the trees, I always tend to start with like a darker color first as my base, and then slowly build it up to a lighter color. And yes, don't forget the bottom part. While you still have that paint on your brush, you may as well utilize it in your reflection. So the next shade going on, and I make sure I don't cover every single piece of darker green that I just painted. I always leave something there so that it gives that shadow, so that it gives it more of a realistic effect. When you look at a tree, and really look at it, you see a lot of different shades because of how the light hits it. the reflection. Liner brush. Tiny little details, and do like to change up the brushes when I do the final details. I mean, I started in with a more like kind of a coarser brush, and now I go in with a liner brush because you get different kind of strokes, which gives that tree even more definition. And my tip to you, don't be scared to use your fingers. I like to use it to smudge out lines or strokes like this. It really gives a cool like little reflection effect for the water. And this is my other liner brush, which is a lot shorter, which is really cool for tiny little details. And she's starting to come together. I brought in some darker shades again because I wasn't 100% happy because it started to turn into one color green blob, and I really wanted to show that there was actually different colors. I have fast forwarded. As you can see, there is more colors, definition, and all that there. But like I said, I don't think I want to bore you for like a total 3-4 hour video. That's probably how long it took me to paint this. There she is, the Tree of Hope. I really hope you enjoyed this painting. I thank you so much for watching. And the next one should be up probably by Friday, Saturday. That's what I'm aiming for. So hey, stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.